Billy, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Hi, AJ. I'm well, thanks. How are you doing?
Excellent. So just what can you tell us about this game, Hockey Hardware?
Well, it's a very nice segue that you had right before the commercial break, going through the different stat categories for all the players running for the real NHL Hockey Hardware at the end of the season. The Hockey Hardware I've created is structured very similarly to that. So the objective of the game is you want to win the Champions Cup trophy card. And to win the Champions Cup trophy card, players compete for 11 different trophies, each dedicated to its own stat category or a combination of stat categories. So in the game, you play as the player, collecting the stats, and you at the start, you build your player profile to be either a forward or a defense, or in the East or the West Conference. And you start on line 2 if you're a forward and pair 2 if you're a defenseman, and you can move up and down the lineup. And the logic in that is if you're higher in the lineup, you see more ice time, you get more opportunity to collect more stats. If you're lower, you get less. And players compete for stats by rolling these dice we've made called stat dice. And the stats they compete for include goals, assists, blocks, hits, shots, and plus rating. And there's also an adversity face on there, which in real hockey, it's never a good sign when you run into adversity. So this is the trouble of the game. You want to avoid it as much as possible. And the dice bring that luck element to the game. If you roll adversity, you risk picking up cards from an adversity deck, which include getting benched, facing a line demotion, getting a buyout, which is really bad, being suspended, which is also really bad, and a few others. If you don't roll adversity, you actually promote yourself up the lineup, so you're rewarded that way. Once you get through the adversity stage, you can play game cards, which are the strategic element to the game, and those cards emulate different hockey actions, and they increase the social dynamics and interactions between players. So, for an example, there's a takeaway card and a giveaway card, which are offensive type cards, and they can be countered by defensive cards like a back check and a turnover. And then we have other game cards as well, such as home ice advantage, poke check. We've got the shift card, stick lift, breakaway, and so on. And the way the game's structured is it's built to be like a real hockey game. There's 15 rounds players play through, divided into 3 periods and 2 intermissions. And at each intermission, players will take the opportunity there to count up their stats, which they're keeping count on a score sheet that comes with the game, and to see who the hockey leaders are at that point in the game. So you hand out the hardware to find out. It's kind of like a leaderboard. Who's ahead, who's not ahead, who's a threat, who's not a threat, and you adjust your strategy accordingly. But the challenge in Hockey Hardware, by design, is it's got a lot of swings and unpredictability, and that keeps the game very interesting, because you might have a real hot first period and then cool right off in the second while your opponents catch up, or vice versa. The other nice thing about Hockey Hardware is that it's designed for hockey fans, but anyone can pick it up and play it. So you don't need to know hockey or have hockey experience to have a good time playing this game. And through the play testing process that we've had, we've actually seen on a few occasions non-hockey fans pick up the game and play through it and actually defeat those who are hockey fans and are actually pretty knowledgeable about the game. So it's a nice balancer and equalizer that way as well. And beyond being just a fun game product, we see it having many benefits. For example, there's a bit of stats and math involved, just basic addition, which is helpful for children if you're growing in going through the education system like that. It's a very social game for those social interactions and relationship building. There's strategy involved, so that's helpful for problem solving. And we see it as a tool, actually, to help grow the game of hockey. And what I mean by that is it's going to help, I see it having a role in helping increasing accessibility, so that someone who's not familiar with hockey or isn't a fan right now might be brought closer to hockey through this game format, and through that process get closer, get more interested, and eventually convert to becoming a fan. And that's how you help grow the game of hockey. So a lot of exciting things with the Hockey Hardware game right now, and it's live on Kickstarter. which is a crowdfunding platform that we've chosen to help raise funds to bring this game to life. Our funding goal right now is $125,000, and we need to raise that amount by 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, February 18th. Right now, we've got about $20,700 raised, which is a very good start. And we're working very hard this week, actually, in Toronto during the All-Star break and the All-Star festivities happening here. And for the past 2 days, Hockey Hardware has been a proud partner of the Carnegie Initiative Summit 2024 in Toronto as well, where we're proud to support growing the game of hockey by making it more inclusive, more accessible, and welcoming to all while having the opportunity to showcase our game.
So, Billy, a couple of quick questions. Just why did you want to make a hockey game? It sounds like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but it's been a ton of fun. And when you're having fun doing something you love, it's not work at all. It's a passion. And that's really where it started from, was my passion for hockey, my passion for games, and my passion for fantasy hockey, which was the inspiration for this game 5 years ago. I was just going to bed one night and checking in on my fantasy team as responsible managers do, and making sure everyone's performing to their expectations there. And it's been a lot of fun because we've been in this league my brother Alex manages, called BDRD Fantasy Hockey League, and there's 14 teams and guys who manage their teams in that league. And it's always kept us connected, even though we have distance between us. It keeps us close that way. But I was just kind of thinking, why not have a fantasy hockey game that brings people together in person? That would be so much fun. And then I kind of thought, well, how would that look? What would the objective be? What would the structure look like? What would be some of the mechanics and dynamics involved? And I quickly had to get out of bed, abort getting ready for bed that night, and start writing down the ideas because they were just flowing. And before I knew it, it was an all-nighter. And I knew by morning I would want to call this game Hockey Hardware. And I had a very good core concept of the game, which I right away I also started pretty much the trademark process for getting the name locked up in Canada and the U.S. and securing its name on social media platforms, which I was really surprised it was available, but that was just a bonus to the side of it all. And 5 years later, through a lot of play testing, with family and friends and strangers too, with a lot of honest feedback and revisions, we've been able to develop a really great game here that we're pushing forward.
So how can people test it if they want to test it?
Right now we've got about 14 prototypes on person. So the testing's a bit limited. I'm in Ottawa. I'm happy to meet with anybody interested in testing it in the mornings and in the evenings. You can coordinate through hockeyhardware.com if people have availability and would like to explore this. If there's a significant amount of interest after this interview, I'd also be open to having an event locally there and bringing more people together in a bigger venue to showcase it to people. That would probably be a good option there too.
Perfect stuff. Appreciate the time, Billy. Best of luck. Good luck this weekend in Toronto with the event. And again, hockeyhardware.com if people have more information about the game.
Thanks, AJ. And one quick thing too, if I may add. It's so important people pledge to support Hockey Hardware on Kickstarter. That's the way we're going to bring the game to life. So if they simply Google Hockey Hardware Kickstarter, we're one of the top hits there, and they can learn more about the game online there.
Sounds good. Thanks, Billy.
Thanks so much, AJ. It's been a pleasure.